the Daily Ramble podcast. Good morning, West Ham fans. It's Nick from Claret and Booze. I hope you're all well. I'm going to do my usual. As always, please subscribe to the channel. It does really help us. And don't forget, drop your like on the video. It's not a vanity thing. It's not, honestly, it does make me feel good. But most importantly, you're helping the channel because it tells YouTube to share it around. And that's the one little thing that you can do to us to kind of help us with the channel. It does really help. So, before I go anywhere, well, to give you a quick brief on what I'm going to do today. So we're going to talk about the game last night because I did do a watch-along, but not on YouTube. So I'm going to talk about that. So I watched the full game, sadly. Stayed up till midnight, as I'm sure many of you did. And we're going to talk about Crescencio Summerville, and then we'll move on to a few other bits and pieces. So I'm going to try and move through it quite quickly. But I'll tell you what, Crescencio Summerville, absolutely over the moon with that particular signing. That's right up my alley. Tricky little winger. But I was devastated when I saw Russ Budden with his summertime. Couple that with the devastation of Jota moving to Nottingham Forest and the Jota song dying. I thought I've got to recover this situation. So I've killed two birds with one stone. Here we go. Hope you enjoy it.
When you score, you make the West Ham sings. Jimmy on the wing, Jimmy, Jimmy on the wing. Every time you're on the ball, we know it's gonna be a goal. Your real name is Crescencio. La da da da, la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la da 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 dum, la da da da.
Welcome to Claret and Booze. I hope you enjoy the show. Come on, you irons. Come on. That's all right, isn't it? That's got to be worth a like. Come on. It's a work in progress. I'm going to change the video. But yeah, I've modified and I brought back a classic. Ain't you lucky? That's going to be on the Sunday night show later. Right. Okay. So we all stayed up to watch, or many of us stayed up to watch, West Ham face off against Crystal Palace in a packed out stadium in the US because we've cracked America, you know. Sully thought we had anyway, you know. We was on Ted Lasso. We must have cracked America. No, we haven't. There was about 12 people in there. The weirdest stadium ever, and it was empty. Same as the last one. We'd also played a game earlier on that day because there was potential of another thunderstorm, so Palace and West Ham got together, played a game behind closed doors, 30 minutes each way. We battered them 3-0, apparently. Paqueta, Bowen, Ings was playing. You had Alford playing in that game as well. We also had I think it's Herrick, an 18-year-old goalkeeper that played in that game. He's represented England under 15s, 16s, 17s, and under 18s. And we've let go of the likes of Anang, Trott, and Knightsbridge to sort of clear a pathway for him. So that's really good. Apparently, he did really well. We didn't concede one. We won 3-0. Goals from Cornet, Maxwell Cornet. I don't believe it. I reckon they're lying. Danny Ings and Bowen, I think, but no one's going to be able to see the goals unless they've been leaked somewhere online. But we won 3-0, and then we went on to the main event. The main event, people, the televised midnight kickoff, which I did a watch-along for. And I will go on to talk about this a little bit more later on. Claret and Booze have been invited to represent West Ham on a new platform called Tifo, which is purely for watch-alongs. Purely for watch-alongs. It's very new. When you get new software, before it's released, it's called beta. Well, this is alpha, so this is even before that. So I've shared the link for the watch-along for people in our community, basically, that are not going to moan at us because there are still some bugs that need ironing out. But it was fantastic. Everyone that was on it absolutely really loved it. The chat's more intuitive. You know, like in the live chat, when it starts streaming through, you can literally click on a comment and reply directly to it, and you get your own threads. So you can have your own live chat, private live chats within the live chat. GIFs, everyone loves a GIF. You know, you got that as well. And within the software, you can request to come on stage within the software. If you're watching on your phone or your laptop or whatever else, it's all through the software. Really good. Still a little bit buggy, a little few bugs that need ironing out, but that's going to be fantastic over the next couple of weeks to a month. So I will bring that to you more as time goes on. It's not a paid service. It's free. But it's just separate from YouTube, and that's what I'm going to be doing watch-alongs on. So very grateful for Tifo to invite me onto that platform. Yeah, the game was. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do a two-tier review. I thought it was amazing. It was so good. I could really see, you know, the what Lopetegui's trying to implement, and James Ward-Prowse and Souček were amazing in midfield. It was wonderful to see them start again. It was really good. Defensively, we were sound. There's no issues in midfield whatsoever. I thought Summerville as a right-back was absolutely outstanding. I can't even imagine why we're pursuing a new right-back replacement. Passing play was great. Really, really good. Okay, now that was for those of you that have been complaining about the negativity on my videos lately. This is probably where you want to leave, all right? Because that's where the unicorns and everything else leaves the show. Because for everyone else of a sensible mind that just likes to be told the truth rather than lied to, it was shit. It was shit again. It's been shit all pre-season. Now, they say you can't take much from pre-season. You're not fucking wrong. I can't take anything from this pre-season, apart from Lewis Alford. I haven't seen much of Casey and Potts. Those two are the shining lights from pre-season. And also Irvine's had a few cameos, but he ain't starting. But those two, that's all I can take from this pre-season. I can't really see what Lopetegui's doing. I can't. I can see we've changed shape, but we're a mess. We're an absolute mess. That team doesn't get it. This rebuild is far worse than what I thought it was going to be. David Moyes built this squad in his own image, and they've been Moyesed into submission. They don't know what they're doing, But the concern is that there was more defensive mistakes, There was. We was terrible up front. We was toothless. And we always criticise either end of the pitch, but I always say the same thing. Because I understand how football works. If you've got no midfield, your defence will be shit and your attack will be shit. And overall, you will be shit. The midfield is the key component in any team. It's the part of the team that knits defence to attack. It protects the defence. It provides the ammunition to attack. If you don't have a midfield, you're going to be shit. James Ward-Prowse and Souček, a.k.a. Jedward, I am sick of the sight of the pair of them. I don't ever want to see them partner in the Premier League for us again. We saw enough last year. Lopetegui must have watched the videos. I know he's got to get to grips with his team, but apparently, if you listen to the rumours, he's been studying West Ham and he knows what we're capable of. Well, if he wants to go to a possession-based team, for a start, Souček, red flag, get him out. I'm sorry. If you want to use him as an impact player, so you bring him on when we need a box crasher late in the game, fine. James Ward-Prowse, people saying, oh, yeah, Well, look, he's a one-trick pony and his trick's shit. His free kicks and his corners, they're nothing to scream about. They're not. He turns the ball over. People compare him to Mark Noble. There's no comparison between him and Mark Noble. Technically, they're very similar. They do similar things, but Mark Noble had big, big bollocks. He would put in crunching tackles. He would grab the team by the scruff of the neck. He would scream and bark at people. I can't tolerate seeing James Ward-Prowse in there. He's weak. He's a weak midfielder. They run a lot. Souček cuts off his own fucking passing lines. I saw it 5 times. He's calling for the ball in line with his player, with a Crystal Palace player in the middle of them, and he's calling for the ball. Is he blind? They're useless. Freddie Potts, far and away, and I have not got my academy system goggles on, giving allowances to the kids. No, I haven't. Freddie Potts was far and away the most competent, possibly player in that first half. He really was. Defensively, he was better. Positionally, he was better. There was no stuttering. When I call a player a Rolls Royce, what I mean by that is that everything seems easy. Everything seems easy. Too many of the players in that West Ham team, they receive the ball and then they think about what they're going to do next. And you can see that by the fact that they stutter on the ball. They stutter on the ball. We saw it with Dinos and Kilman a few times. They're like, shit, do I go left? Do I go right? Freddie Potts knows what he's going to do with the ball before he even receives it. Souček and James Ward-Prowse run a lot, mostly away from the fucking ball. I've said it before, James Ward-Prowse is like a second ref. So that was terrible. I didn't take anything from that. One of the most concerning things is that we know that we're going to be going to a pressing game. We know that. Well, the press in the first half reminded me, because I've managed kids' football, all the way through. We're in the under-16s now. It reminds me of like the under-8s when you've got all the kids chasing after the ball, like packs of them. There was times. Now, that's not how you press. You don't press with one man, but you don't press with 11, all chasing the ball. There's got to be one or two that go to press the player, and everyone else cuts off passing lines. It was a mess. So Crystal Palace were getting gaps everywhere. They were walking through us. They looked like a different level team. It looked like Kidderminster playing Barcelona at times. They were just walking into our box. If it weren't for the fact that they had shit end products, like their finishing was awful, they'd have been 4-5-0 up in the first half. Soufal, awful. Absolutely awful. I love him as a person, the same as Souček, but we're judging them on football here. That's what we're doing. We're not judging them on their character. I'm sure they are nice. I'd like to have a cup of tea with him. I don't want to watch him play football. I don't. He can't defend. The first goal, Soufal, awful, shit. He can't defend. People going about, oh, he's really good going forward. He can get the ball in. We was having a chat earlier on. Sam said, people say he's really good going forward. He ain't got many assists. No, he ain't. He ain't. His passing's terrible. You can't, if you want to play a possession-based game, you can't have players in the team that can't pass. I'm stating the obvious here. So why, if Souček and James Ward-Prowse are not going to start against Aston Villa, why have they played back-to-back games in the US and played most of the minutes? It's like they're getting sharpened up and ready to go. The best of the three midfielders, Freddie Potts, was the one that came off in the second half. Now, I may be jumping the gun, and I'm going to give Lopetegui a chance. Of course I am. He's not got an easy job here. This team have been moised into fucking submission. I think he needs a new team, more or less, 80%. Because it's going to take these players so long to learn that they're not got the... Don't be scared of the football. Let the football do the job. You know, it's not a risk to have the ball at your feet. Don't panic. Because that's what you seem to get. It looks like terror. It was awful. It was shit. We scored 2 goals, which were basically Moyes-style goals. Everyone deep. Hoof. Down the other end. The first one, the ball found its way to a Crystal Palace player who made a really sloppy pass. Antonio intercepted it, as he often does, and ran through, scored, slotted it in. Really good goal. We didn't score 2 goals. We scored 1 goal. The other chance was Kudus. So Kudus, it was a long ball out to Kudus. Same thing. He's run through on goal, but he slotted it. He missed the post. He missed the target. It was very, very worrying. It was very concerning. I'm not taking much from this. I'm worried. The season starts in a few weeks. The players look like they don't give a fuck. Lopetegui looks fuming. I mean, there was players walking off the pitch that he was substituting. He weren't even looking at them. He looked angry again. 2nd week running. So I am concerned. It's great that we've got Summerville in, but you can't start slow in the Premier League because things can cascade. They can get progressively worse. I'm worried that the slow transfer window, which could turn into a fantastic transfer window by virtue of the players that we eventually get in, but the way that we've done business and the pace in which we've done business has impacted our pre-season, which is preparation for the season. That does typically dictate how well you're going to start, especially when you're trying to change style. You know, there's probably players that are out on that pitch that know they're on borrowed time. They don't give a shit. They know they're being replaced. And I'll tell you the one thing I didn't see, because I think Antonio played well. He did really well. I mean, especially when he broke down the right-hand side, flashed the ball across the 18-yard box, and James Ward-Prowse, I don't know what he did. You know, he was popping up all over the place, Antonio. One of our brightest sparks. So was Kudus, offensively. What I didn't think when I looked at that team, which were mostly sitting deep defending and hitting the ball long, was, I know what we need, a fuck rug. Credit to Gatesy on the West Ham Massive for that, by the way. Yeah, I didn't think that's what we need, fuck rug. A striker that's less mobile than the one that we've got. Maybe he's not as slow as what I make him out to be, but he ain't quick, and he ain't as quick as Antonio. So what's going to be the plan there then? Leave him up front on his own, whack the ball up to him with him fighting 3 defenders, him hold the ball up until everyone makes their way up to him. Again, I might be panicking over nothing, because I do believe that the attack is good. I do believe that the defence is nowhere near as shit as what it's looked for a year to 2 years now. They've looked shit because of our midfield. Those 2 same players, Jedward in the middle, killing this team, killing either end of the pitch. Give us a solid midfield. Hopefully the Argentinian geezer, hopefully we get that done and he can come in and be a direct replacement for Alvarez until he recovers. That fills that gap because we do miss Alvarez. But nonetheless, I don't want them 2 in that team. Get them gone. As Claude from West Ham, Fan TV used to say, God rest his soul, it's time to go. Get them out. Get them gone. Sell them. We've got better players in the youth academy that ain't even up to speed as Premier League players yet. Imagine how good Alford and Potts and Urphy would be after regular minutes at the top level. They would evolve into twice the players they are now. These two planks ain't getting no better. They are what they are. They're already shit. And they're making the rest of us look bad. I don't want to see him play anymore. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that Lopetegui can see what we all can see. And I'm pretty sure that he can. And I'm not going to jump on Lopetegui. He's going to get time. He is. That will frustrate me, though. If we've got other midfield options and he keeps picking them two, that's one of the main things that I hated about Moyes. Because it's blatantly obvious. I've said it at the start of the video. If you've got a terrible midfield, your team will be terrible. That midfield's terrible. Sort it out. Hook them out. Right. Anyway, so that's the game. It was awful. And Max Kilman, like I said, from what I've seen in pre-season, in that game in particular, 40 million my arse. I hope he does well. I hope he comes good. Aguirre looks the best defender out of all the ones that we've got at the moment. He does. I think Kilman will be a good player, but 40 million, my God. And they're worrying about playing 40 million for Duran. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Yeah, so look, actually that's it. I'm going to leave it there because I've gone off on a tangent. I've had a moan. I'm still excited for the season, but my expectations have been realigned. We're not going to kick on, and I don't think we're going to do well early on. We're not. We're going to have to be patient. I'm going to have to be patient. I'm going to have to expect that we're going to struggle early on. I think we are. I mean, with all due respect, if we keep on performing like that, trying to play a possession-based game, don't rule out the low block coming back because Lopetegui could look at that and go, fuck this. They can't do it. They can't do it. If they don't know how to press, they don't know what they're doing, they can't hold the ball, we're going to leave gaps everywhere. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out because he will work with what he's got. And at the moment, he's got some good players on paper that have been head-fucked into playing anti-football for 2 years, 3 years. And this is going to be a shock to their system. So put it this way, if we kick on against Aston Villa in the first game, Lopetegui is an absolute don. He's a master because that is not an easy job that he's got there. So look, that is it from me. I will speak to you all soon. We're back later on for the Booze Up. Don't forget, just tune in for me song. Just tune in for me song. And I'll speak to you all later. Gabbing you ads.